Og Mr. Wassman, he is born in Utrecht, lives and works in Germany. He has studied at the Faculty of Architecture at both Delft University and Leibniz University in Hanover. He joined Benthem Crouwel Architects in 1997, and in 2007 he became partner in the company. And since 2011 he has worked as an architect at Benthem Crouwel, NARCO. Mr. Wassman has been involved in very many of the international projects of his company. And we are looking forward to listen to you now, and the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you so much for the invitation too. My name is Marten Wassman of Benthem Crouwel Architects in Amsterdam. Maybe you expected that I could be speaking Norwegian to you, but my outer appearance is different. If I understand correctly, maybe the audience was also expecting some musical intermission. I'm not going to do that either. I'm going to talk to you about some work we have done on railway stations and public buildings, urban designs. And I have 20 minutes, is that right? I don't have a counter here, so somebody should warn me if I'm over time, please. We are a firm of only 60 people based in, that's the timer. Is that 10 minutes only? No, 20 it should be. We are a firm based in Amsterdam. We have a branch in Germany. We work internationally on railway projects, but we also work on other projects linked to the public realm, a lot of public clients we have, and yeah, most of it is work with people, getting their transport done, and integrating the whole thing into the urban fabric, and that's what I'm going to talk about. We have been delivering 4 major railway stations for high-speed links in our country, all in the last 5 years, and still building. But I've been asked by the organization not to talk too much about these large projects, since they may not be comparable to the Norwegian stations as such. So what I did was I sent Jernbaneforum and NSB an identical email, even had them in the carbon copy of each other, asking for what are the sizes of your railway stations, how many passengers go through them every day. And I got an identical answer, and it's the same that I would get in Holland with our main clients, the Nationale Spoorwegen and ProRail, that's the counterpart. And the answer was, ask the other one. So nobody seems to know or be wanting to talk about it. So I don't know about Norwegian railway stations, but what's for sure is that they are situated somewhere. People go there every day. And so they're somehow the front door to a city, maybe also the gateway to the world or to the country. And I would like to talk about that because there's more to it. It's also a place in everybody's daily life. Many commuters, as we have heard, are traveling through stations, and they have become an important part of the urban fabric. Just a quick look at my country. Well, I'm German myself, but the country that I work in, the Netherlands, we have, like most countries, gone through a period of increasing population in urban fabric. We are, with our national airport, on 4th place in Europe, Amsterdam Schiphol. We attract a lot of people traveling to our country, taking the airplane. We have, since ages, centuries, we have strong business connections to the world, and all that is done by railway transport at the moment, or an increasing part of it is done by railway, since we're linked to the European railway network on high-speed railways. Not to the north yet, that's been built on, I think, but Sweden and Norway have to come to terms who's paying the border crossing, I think, at Halden first, and then we might have even a link through northern Germany to Scandinavia as well. We're working on most of the stations that are here in the scheme, and I want to focus on a couple of them. Coming from Paris, down here, it's only a 4-hour journey to Schiphol Airport. And you have to cross a border, a water part, and a tunnel to get into there. And I want to take you with me on that journey and what happens there with the stations in the urban fabric. As I said, Holland is part of a larger network, even though it's not in the center of it. We still attract a lot of people, a lot of tourists. I just came back from China. There people say, we really like Amsterdam so much because it's so unpopulated. And as long as as long as the Chinese think like that, I'm sure we will have more and more and more, and we will have to transport them throughout Europe. When coming into our country, you first have to cross a stretch of water, not as large as the Skagerrak north of Denmark, by the way, but still 2 kilometers, a bridge designed by our company too. And then you enter pretty soon the city of Rotterdam, our second largest city, where in the 50s, after the destruction of the city by German bombers, a station was built as a kind of gateway to the city center, but actually it served more like a kind of barrier between the two halves of the city. And I just go back quickly, with a residential part in the north and a more commercial part here. There was no connection. The former station really blocked the two ends, even though there was a tunnel, but it never felt like one city. It felt like two cities. So when we got the commission together with 2 other design firms, we focused on overcoming that barrier and to really turn this station into a place where it's worth going to and worth remaining, worth shopping, having your coffee and meeting people. So we don't want to go into too many details, but we made a design that stretched much further than only the central station area. It went into the urban fabric, and we supported the idea of some politicians to make the streets more dense so that the central station square would become a place to meet in itself. It's a quite complicated crossing there. We don't only have the national railways and the European high-speed railway link. We also have a metro station and a large bus station, and that all had to work together into one area. So we suggested to have a large canopy, like a covered space, even in our climate that's comfortable, to have that kind of city space inside a building. The main aspect of what we did was delivered by making a large pedestrian crossing as a backbone of our station. So it's really a connection between north and south, but we also widened it so we have more space for commercial items, never obstructing the way getting from one side to the other. And it's actually used every day by thousands of people crossing through the central station building as a kind of urban connection. And they never feel bored. There is a lot of vibe here. Of course, cyclists cannot go through here. We have the former tunnel, a former pedestrian tunnel we have changed into a bicycle-only tunnel. So these 2 modes of traffic are really passing next to each other through this area. That's the shops. And of course, we had to take care of that bus station to this side that still has to be connected to the tram stop here. That's one of the reasons why we kind of cut off that canopy that covers everything and that urban square in the front. Working on this kind of situation, on this kind of location, is really like an open heart surgery with the patient not dying, hopefully. The people are using the station every day. We have to stick to local and international train regulations, of course, and timetables. So we delivered this project within time, in 5 years, as it was planned together with our partners. And there, the city municipality, of course, played the largest role. To the north, we have a very low, almost residential area-like facade that links to the urban fabric, the smaller urban fabric there. And to the south, well, first we crossed the station as a kind of pedestrian walk with a lot of light. You always find your trains because there's more light and some signs there. And when arriving, it's a little bit different situation. It's like a huge space that offers not only the commercial aspects that you will find on the bottom, but also the spaciousness that you want to find your way naturally throughout the station. That's the big entrance hall that I was talking about, with the metro line directly underneath it. So it's a kind of combination. It's a real hub with a lot of public transport modes woven into each other. It's not always as crowded as when the king opens the station, like here. And it's important that this building also makes a kind of gesture into the city center, because it's not only the place itself, it's also part of the wider urban fabric leading to the main boulevard that has been worked into our plan as well with the urban designers and landscape designers. There was one aspect that we found out later. On the 21st of December, it's like an Egyptian pyramid with a kind of secret knowledge used, where the light points directly into the heart of the tunnel and lights from north to south, leading the way and connecting the city parts even more so. But that was something that we didn't plan. I want to go to the next, I only have 10 minutes left, to the next project. Delft City is the city behind Rotterdam. Historic city with a railway, probably not in this time, on this location here, passing the old city center. And it was in former times, it was on ground floor, at grade, as we say, passing the old city center structure. And in the 60s, it has been lifted to avoid becoming a kind of natural border between the two city halves. So what Rotterdam had right from the start, here, the planners, architects, city municipality responsibles, they thought that lifting this track system would overcome the separation of the city, but it hasn't. It never felt natural. It was always a kind of wall inside the city, and it could not take as many trains as people expected, because it was polluting the environment with noise. So we won a competition proposing a tunnel on this situation with a new city hall on top of it, so making use of the ground that we deliver empty. And we proposed also, since we had the space, to make a large bicycle shed inside for 10,000 bicycles. It's our national university town, the city of Delft. So we integrated all kinds of modes together, and giving the students that are traveling into town every day the possibility to find their bicycle straight away and go into the city without even crossing the station building itself. So there's an exit from that bicycle shed. I will lead you through the station quickly. It's kind of open system with the ceiling of the new city hall as a kind of canopy over this main hall with the bicycles are on the other side actually, but with stairs and escalators leading you directly to the platform. It's not in a direct line, but it's open enough to find your way naturally here. Very important to us too. Obviously, it works the other way around too, that from the tracks you should always find the exit straight away, and we work with light colors, more white colors on there. And here is that intermediate layer that we introduced for the bicycles in order to get them as closely as possible to the railway itself, integrating this mode of traffic optimally. Yes, there's a lot of city developments going on now on top of this area, which is left completely empty after that barrier has gone, and the city really starts to relive and revive on this place. Let's go to Amsterdam quickly in the last 7 minutes. In Amsterdam, we had the problem that about 1 million people use public transport every day. That sounds a lot, but it's even more so when you consider that in our nation, in the Netherlands, we have 1 million people traveling on the national railway system every day too. So all the people that are using the national railway, same amount of people are using public transport in Amsterdam, and it's getting too cramped. It was getting too cramped 20 years already, with kind of urban interventions to get the tracks at least next to each other in some kind of creative way that was also leading to some problems that we never expected, that tram drivers really couldn't cope with driving next to each other anymore. So we suggested that we should have a metro line throughout the city, connecting north and south, and that's the theme of most of our work, connecting parts of the cities that have been disrupted before here by water. And I will go through a couple of stations very briefly. The center part is a central station island, an artificial island in front of the city with a former coastline here. And here we got the chance to do much more than just building a metro station. We found out that the metro station had the exact length of the width of the former railway station. So we could add not only a kind of central entrance here at the city side, but also at the back side where the ferries arrive from the north. By doing that, sorry, I have to go back. By doing that, it was possible to bring all buses from this side to the far side of the station on the same level as the trains, by the way, making a new kind of hub, bringing all the traffic from surface here to tunnel here, and so to make a kind of fully new integrated hub that delivered or that helped us overcoming a problem that we had before, like with 18 different bus stops in the city center area where we didn't want them. So we put them on the far side of the station, above a tunnel, above a pedestrian system, really getting the water back into the city because all of this infrastructure is not necessary in the future anymore. On the back side, we designed a huge new canopy with a lettering on it. So maybe you don't realize anymore, but this is a mobile phone. And we took the lettering from it with these kind of longitudinal sections and made these very large letters on top of it. Cruise ships pass by, and at least at one time on their 4-day travel, the Chinese will know where they are in Europe. In Amsterdam. It's also turning the backside of the station into a front side, so actually instead of being the kind of wall to the north, the city center, the central station is now really the hub for urban life. Getting the people, sorry, I'm pointing at the wrong screen. Getting the people through the central station now means that they never have to cross any car lanes anymore, neither bus lanes. It's all separated, and now this space really lives and is not inhabited by wrong people anymore. Two final ones at the end, two smaller stations finally, with only 15 and 20,000 people every day. That's our metro system in the north end of the town, where we have a pedestrian link from a street to the platform area. Our client really said we don't need much more than a small canopy where you show your ticket and a kind of canopy on the city, on the link towards the city center here on the platform. And we suggested that there could be more. In this kind of desert location, we suggested that you should have more a real identification of that urban transport so that you can find it and that you can appreciate that. We did a lot of studies. In the end, we didn't do much more than enlarging the canopy that we wanted to make in the first place at the place that you cross that barrier for ticket control. And we all did it in a way that it was cost effective. It's all cold bent glass on top of a shell that has been engineered to the very detail. And so we're able to make a kind of gesture that is much bigger where you need it, where the dynamics are stronger, where the speed is faster with passing cars. So there we wanted to make that statement. And further down, it's much more moderate, linked to the people size and the use And it's now being built at the moment and being put there. This is on a kind of shipyard. That's also nice that we have that kind of link to Amsterdam's history. Being put in place, that's the nicest thing about architecture. After some time, you get what you designed. In this time, it took 17 years. So most of my career is in this project. Last station and last minute, terminal station. Here the city municipality wanted to have more than only a station, only a stop. They wanted to have a kind of propeller, a generator of urban life there, because it was a kind of wasteland, and so we were able to design a station building rather than a stop with only a canopy. A building that feels like a central station from the inside, and that is helping the people to orientate to, since this is the kind of, it's not a motorway, but it's a major link into the city center coming from the north. This is the first building of Amsterdam that you will meet, and you will know where you are, and that you can change here to public transport too, or you should. When you're here in a traffic jam, you know you should have changed to bus and metro system. We are erecting this one too at the moment, and it has already, just the start of this project, has already propelled the investors to really want to invest in here, and the people to want to live here. So it's getting fast now, and this will be the new center of Amsterdam. And in the future, probably the same kind of identification focus point as Amsterdam city center is at the moment. Thank you for your attention.